Today we are going to talk about this wonderful free commander in Rise of Kingdoms. I'm Shinji42, welcome back rockers. We are going to talk about AethelFlaed here today, and we have an outline in here what we're going to go through. We're first going to talk about the basic information, advantage and disadvantages, commander pairings, and also I will show you talent trees for AethelFlaed. Basic information about AethelFlaed. Where can you get AethelFlaed? You have to go through the expedition and you have to defeat these camps in here. The one that has a battle marker and the one that has a shield marker. You can get the treasure of Warrior Queen and you will have a chance to get AethelFlaed sculptures. Now, not just that, you also can get AethelFlaed sculptures through the medal store. So what you need to do is that you need to earn some expedition medals so that you can purchase them here. Now, AethelFlaed is a constant commander in here in the medal store, kind of like with Constance as well. They are not going to change unless Lilith make a system update to the medal store. So what I would recommend is to purchase AethelFlaed every time, and once you're starting out into the game, she is actually a great investment of your medal. So this is one good thing when you're starting out into the game, is to really progress as much as you can within the expedition so that you can obtain AethelFlaed right away. You can only purchase AethelFlaed 3 times in here, and even if you have AethelFlaed maxed out already, what I would recommend is that still buy the sculpture, and you can use this sculpture to be donated into an event called Past Glory Stage 3. Let me show you real quick in here. We have a Treasure of Warrior Queen, and we're going to open one of here, and let's see what is our luck by trying to get AethelFlaed. Look at that. 1 equals to 1 right now. But if you do another one, it depends, right? So you want to have as much as you can so that you can get the AethelFlaed sculpture. So it's like 1 out of 4 currently, and we got another one, right? So yeah, it's not the best for the RNG wise, but you have to get a lot of them, and you can just pretty much collect it, you know, daily in here. It's gonna add up, and you're gonna be able to max AethelFlaed quickly. So I really recommend is that you progress with the expedition fast and do the camps in here. Another great thing with AethelFlaed is that she is a crowd control commander. She has this forward facing fan shape area attack, so it's an AoE commander. She also does debuffing. She's also able to slow the marches of the opponents. She's able to provide bonus damage and bonus experience gain from barbarians and neutral units. Able to increase the rally capacity and bonus damage if she has multiple units. So even if you're not doing a rally and you want to have a multiple type of units, you can actually benefit from here by increasing the damage. She also benefits from marches that had been slowed. An additional 20% damage is going to be dealt. Now let's talk about some of the advantages and disadvantages for AethelFlaed. First, let's talk about the advantage. She is a free commander from the expedition. That's a big plus. A free legendary commander, right? She has Peacekeeping talent. So if you go into AethelFlaed and look into the talent tree, she has Peacekeeping. So for mine, what I use AethelFlaed for is Peacekeeping. She has this talent called Insight, which you can reduce the action points being used once you are doing a consecutive attack on barbarians or other neutral units. She also has Quick Study, increasing the experience gain. And she also has Trophy Hunter, which you get a lot of resources from here. You get those resource packs. And I can show you right now how much resource pack I have, which is about 600,000 of resource pack. This is massive, you know. When you are actually defeating barbarians, you get a lot of value from there by using Peacekeeping Commander. She's also a great support. She's a great support. What she can do is really, we mentioned this earlier, she does a lot of debuffing in here. Attack, defense, and health reduction, 30%. That's massive in my opinion. She's a massive debuffer. As I mentioned earlier about her crowd controlling ability, she is definitely a great commander for the open field. So I believe everybody should have AethelFlaed. I mean, you get her for free. There's no doubt. You should really work on her. She's a free commander that you can use in the open field battle. It's really great for free to play to have her as a commander in their arsenal. She is also very flexible with commander pairing. She doesn't have any specificity about her, skills, where some of the commanders will specify that only infantry, only archer, only cavalry, but she doesn't have that here. So she is very flexible with commander pairings. She's also great for Arc of Osiris. Why Well, she has the ability to slow the opponents. As you can see, we also have into the talent tree where she can also slow opponents in here as well. So another great thing that you can use with AethelFlaed is that you can do chain barb. And let me show you real quick in here how you can do it if you're a new player. Since you already know that AethelFlaed can do crowd controlling and has an AoE skill. So what we're going to do is we're going to connect this two in here. First, you got to do an attack, and you want to drag AethelFlaed to a specific location. And you have to understand how her AoE skill works. The skill is going to cast. It is 180, I believe, right? 180 degree. As you can see, it's 180 degrees. And that's how you do chain barbing. And then you can continue if there's another barbarian in the area. You can defeat one of them first and then continue to drag AethelFlaed. Now, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to attack this with my other commanders in here, so we can defeat that a lot quicker. So that's a way to do chain barbing. And the process of doing this is that you're saving up action point by doing this strategy. So it's definitely very helpful when you have AoE commanders like AethelFlaed. Every commander has a disadvantage. What's a disadvantage for AethelFlaed? Well, in the beginning, you're definitely going to have a hard time, especially if you are a free-to-play player. You're going to have a difficult time obtaining a lot of these medals in here. And you may not succeed right away on defeating these camps. So that's definitely a disadvantage for free-to-play players. But if you are a pay-to-win, it's going to be easy for you to progress within the expedition. So there's that. Now, you must also use golden stars for AethelFlaed, since she is a legendary commander. So this is one reason why I haven't really got her to level 60 or 6 stars in here, because I have to use legendary stars in here. That's one of the disadvantages for her. For me, this doesn't apply as much because I invest on other commanders that are used for other things in here. So for me, using AethelFlaed, getting her to level 60 is not the most important for my playing style. But for some of you guys, if you are using her for the open field battles, then I would recommend as a primary, and I would recommend to get her to level 60. For me, when I use AethelFlaed, when I do fighting in the open field, I use her as a secondary commander. And I use her mostly for debuffing advantages. Using AethelFlaed can also be short-lived. So that's one of the disadvantages for her. She's kind of squishy. She's not as tanky. That's what I would want to say. If you're using her as a primary commander, she's gonna be squishier than the other ones that you can pick on here. That's a disadvantage in my opinion, but she has a different role, right, when you're using her as a primary commander, right? She has the leadership though, and I'll show you the talent tree later. Adding it to the fresh recruits allow her to have more troops and having the rejuvenate 150 rage. So the key things in here is that what she's going to be doing in the battlefield is doing the debuffing. That's pretty much the primary role for her. Debuffing, slowing the enemies, that's her main role when you are using her in the battlefield. Now, AethelFlaed has a skill in here. Whenever she leads a rally attack, rallied army will have 10% higher troop limit. Now, typically I would say more troops, better. But in this case, when you're using AethelFlaed, I have not yet seen, in my experience, or whenever I was defending, that I was being defeated by an AethelFlaed. Typically, I win against AethelFlaed. So for now, I want to say is that she's not really the best commander to use for rallying structures. Perhaps if you are doing Ark of Osiris, if you really don't have any choice, you can use her for rallying. But if you are in the actual fighting on the KVK and stuff, I wouldn't really use her as a commander when you are rallying. What I would recommend is use other commanders that has more specificity, launching full infantry, full archers, or full cavalry. You would get more benefits from that situation. Now, one of the key things as well, as a commander that is a leadership commander, which she has some bonus damage when there's different types of units. When you're trying to equip materials to AethelFlaed, what I would recommend is actually equipped materials that has multiple stats. Now, if I equipped AethelFlaed with the equipments like this ones, she would really benefit from it. And when you have mixed troops in there, you have to portion your mixed troop, maybe 50, 25, 25. So you gotta utilize the equipments in here when you are using AethelFlaed. Try not to do a specific ones like this. This is just an example for you guys that I have in here. So here's my suggested pairings. You can do a lot of pairings with AethelFlaed. Her value does not state any specificity when it comes to units. So other commanders in here, you can definitely work on them. So if you don't see any commanders in here that you want to pair with AethelFlaed, don't hold yourself from it. This is only my suggestions, but there are many type of pairings you can do. So with AethelFlaed being a primary commander, what you can use as a secondary commander is using Mehmed, Joan of Arc, Yi Song-ye, Osman, Zuntu, and Frederick. And AethelFlaed as a secondary commander using a primary Richard, primary Baybars, and a primary Alexander. For me, what I've done most of the time is using a primary Alexander the Great with my AethelFlaed. Most people would actually do a Richard primary and AethelFlaed secondary. This is really great because you can make your AethelFlaed march tanky with the Richard primary. Now, what I've done actually when I'm farming barbs, so you want to have AethelFlaed as a primary so that you can reduce action points and also get some loot from the resource pack. So putting AethelFlaed as a primary and secondary Richard is very tanky still whenever you're doing barbarians. Now we can highlight some of the things here above as AethelFlaed as a primary using Yi Song-ye, Zuntu, Mehmed. These are commanders that have AoE, would really work well with AethelFlaed in here. And then we also have Joan of Arc. So if you're playing more of a support, you can definitely use that as well. And another epic commander like Osman, a very good commander if you want to bring a lot more troops and a lot of high damage in there. Osman is a great one in here, similar with Frederick as well. Now, if you're using Baybars as a secondary, you definitely get benefit from the marching speed slow. So even with Richard has a marching speed debuff. So both of these commanders, you really get some benefit from it because of AethelFlaed's skills. Whenever there is a movement speed decrease, there is more damage. Here's some of the talent trees for AethelFlaed. We have 3 talent trees in here. The first one that we're showing right now, this talent tree is really great if you are performing like a mixed troops AethelFlaed marches. You have the arm to teeth, you have the armor to teeth. This is definitely going to boost those mixed units within that march. Now, here's my other build. This is going to be more for open field battle as well, but more of a specific troops, right? You have your unit in here, like full infantry, full archers, or full cavalry. Like if you do a Zuntu secondary, honestly, you can even try using like Pelagius if you're going for cabs or Baybars, or within the archers if you want to do YSG or do a Kosunoki Herman. Some of these options you can do. Now, if you are like me, this is actually my talent tree that I have for AethelFlaed. If you are using AethelFlaed for barbarian hunting, you know, you can use it for barbarian fort rallies. This is the talent tree that's going to work at the most efficient way for you because you get a lot of great things in here. Kind of full on to the peacekeeping pat and a little bit on the support just for additional rage regen and a little bit of a skill defense from the barbarians that you're going against with so that you have a little bit more survivability. Remember, more survivability going against barbarians, it means that there will be more AP saved in the long run. So guys, a quick summary in here. AethelFlaed is a very good commander, free commander, and I think everybody should have AethelFlaed. As you know, I also have AethelFlaed. You definitely want to have her in your arsenal. So thanks for watching. Hopefully this video is helpful. If you like it, smash that thumbs up and share the video if you love it. Anyway, thanks for watching, rockers. Let me know what you think about this video in the comment section below. And I will see you again next time. There will be more videos like this for different commanders.